Hey, welcome. We're always told that great leaders have to be smart. But what does being smart actually mean? Today we're going to tear that idea apart and look at a new framework, one that gets way beyond just test scores and fancy degrees to figure out what really makes a leader effective. Let's jump in.
So let me ask you something. Have you ever seen this happen? You've got this person, right? Their resume is incredible. Went to all the best schools, can probably ace any test you put in front of them. They seem like the smartest person in the room. But then you put them in charge of a team and everything just kind of falls apart. They're a genius on paper, but when it comes to actually leading people, it's a disaster. So what gives? Why does that happen so often?
Well, the root of the problem is pretty simple. Our whole definition of intelligence is just way too small. Things like IQ tests, SAT scores, academic grades, they only measure one very specific kind of smarts. And it turns out that one skill is nowhere near enough to handle the messy, complex reality of leading other human beings.
So if that old model is broken, what's the fix? Well, thankfully, a psychologist named Robert Sternberg came up with a much better, much more practical model for what success really looks like. It's called the WICS framework, and honestly, it's a game changer for understanding leadership.
All right, so WICS. What does it stand for? It's wisdom, intelligence, and creativity synthesized. Now pay attention to that last word, synthesized. That's the secret sauce here. It's not about just having a little bit of wisdom and being kind of smart and having a creative idea now and then. No. The real magic happens when you weave them all together. It's how they're combined, how they work in harmony, that actually lets you solve those messy, real-world problems.
So let's break this down piece by piece. We're going to look at each of the three pillars of WICS. We'll start with the one we think we know, intelligence. But trust me, we're going to look at it in a completely new light.
See, Sternberg says we need to stop obsessing over academic intelligence and start focusing on something he calls successful intelligence. This is a way bigger idea. It's not just about what you know from a book, it's about how you actually use what you know to get things done and achieve your goals out in the world.
And successful intelligence has three key parts. First, you've got your analytical ability. This is the classic book smarts, being able to analyze a problem, pick it apart, and evaluate it. Then there's creative ability, which is all about coming up with new, fresh ideas to begin with. And finally, and this is so crucial, there's practical ability. This is the skill of taking an idea and actually making it happen, getting other people on board and bringing it to life.
Let's make this super clear. Analytical intelligence is when you can write a brilliant report comparing all the features of a new software. Practical intelligence, that's actually getting your stubborn, change-resistant team to use the new software. See the difference? One is theory, the other is gritty reality.
And here's the thing about practical intelligence. It runs on something called tacit knowledge. This is all the stuff they can't teach you in school. It's the unwritten rules of the office. It's knowing who the real influencers are, how to read a room, and how to navigate the social dynamics to get things done. It is, for all intents and purposes, workplace street smarts.
Okay. Pillar number 2, creativity. And listen, this isn't just for painters and poets. In the WICS model, creativity is a core leadership skill, a powerful tool for solving problems, no matter what your job title is.
I absolutely love this analogy from Sternberg. He says creative leaders are like savvy investors in the stock market of ideas. They find those ideas that are novel and unpopular, the ones nobody else believes in yet. They buy low. Then they put in the work, they champion the idea, they fight for it, and they persuade people of its value until, bam, it becomes the new hot thing. They've sold high, and now they're off looking for the next undervalued gem.
And the best part? This isn't some magic talent you're either born with or you're not. Creativity, in a leadership sense, is really just a series of choices. It's choosing to question the way things have always been done. It's choosing to be okay with a little uncertainty and to take smart risks. And most of all, it's choosing to keep going when everyone else tells you your idea is crazy.
Which brings us to our final and maybe most important pillar. It's the one that guides everything else. It's wisdom. Because without it, a smart and creative person can actually do a whole lot of damage.
Think of wisdom as the moral compass for your other abilities. It's what makes you use your intelligence and creativity for something bigger than yourself, for a common good. A wise leader is in a constant balancing act. They're weighing what's good for them, what's good for their team, and what's good for the entire organization. Not just today, but for years to come. Wisdom is what turns power into progress. So, we've got our three pillars: intelligence, creativity, and wisdom. But remember that S in WICS, it stands for synthesized. The real power isn't just having these traits in a list, it's all about how you weave them together. Let's walk through an example.
Okay, picture this. It's a tough situation, one that a lot of us have faced. You're in charge, and you've just been told to make deep, painful budget cuts, and you need to do it now. The obvious, easy answer? Layoffs. But what does a WICS leader do?
Well, first, they fire up their creativity. They refuse to just accept layoffs as the only option. They start asking different questions. What if we totally redesigned our workflow? Could we merge these two teams to create a powerhouse? Is there a new service we could launch that would actually make money instead of just cutting costs? They defy the obvious answer and generate something new.
Now, a cool idea is great, but it's not enough. This is where successful intelligence kicks in. They use their analytical brain to run the numbers and prove that this creative idea is actually a good financial move. Then, they switch gears and use their practical brain to build a step-by-step plan and, just as importantly, to sell that plan to the team, the board, and everyone else who needs to be convinced.
And here's the final, crucial piece. Wisdom. This is what stops a clever plan from becoming a ruthless one. Wisdom is the gut check. It asks, is this fair? It pushes you to communicate everything openly and honestly because you know your people are anxious. The goal suddenly isn't just about hitting a number on a spreadsheet. It becomes about doing what's right for the common good. And that means looking out for the long-term health of the company and the well-being of the people who make it run.
And right there, that's the difference. A leader who is just smart in the traditional sense, they would have just done the layoffs. Problem solved, right? But a WICS leader, by synthesizing all three elements, does something so much more powerful. They don't just solve the problem, they transform it into an opportunity to make the whole organization smarter, stronger, and better prepared for the future.
So, as we close this out, I want you to think about this. The real question isn't, am I smart enough to lead? The better question is, which of these WICS abilities am I going to work on next? Maybe you're a brilliant analyst who needs to get more comfortable with creative thinking. Or maybe you're full of amazing ideas, but you need to build those practical skills to make them a reality. Or maybe it's time to focus on that wisdom piece to make sure everything you do serves a greater good. Figuring that out, well, that's your first step toward becoming a truly great leader. Thanks for tuning in.